what are some good go-to-market strategies you would recommend for startups that might be in the seed stage and kind of looking for that early product market fit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think organizations as they kind of scale, they go through this really it's funky, it's bumpy, it's sometimes painful process where you're moving from really more organic growth, right, and then you really shift into proactive growth. And organic growth is lots of times it's literally it happens due to hustle, like founder connections, kind of the root elements, and suddenly you get to this point where those things that worked in your organic phase they don't work anymore, right? They're still working, but you're not scaling. You're just staying flat. It's like, shoot. And that's kind of called, there's a great book. It's called Predictable Revenue.
Yeah. Ran out of family and friends.
yeah. So you kind of like, you hit hot coals, right? Where it's kind of like, oh, like we're not really accelerating. And that's when you really are shifting into proactive growth. I think one of the things that's been so interesting for me to observe is just the kind of the tried and true tactics that I've seen work now in, at this point, 5 different organizations. I think one of the mistakes that is often made is companies early on will over-index on one thing that they believe will work. So maybe it's like CoderPad, for example. We are a product-led growth company. That literally is how we got to where we are today, but fully recognizing that's not going to be what gets us to the next level. So embracing other strategies. So taking what was a product-led funnel where deals would come in, they'd sign up for a free trial. So technically speaking, they were engaging with us. And then they end up becoming a customer, but kind of through the self-service funnel. So that's kind of the product-led funnel. Historically, our growth at CoderPad was fueled by that product flow. And then the quote AEs or account executives would take those small customers that had swiped their credit card through that self-serve funnel and basically expand them. So it was that expansion motion. Yep. And when I joined CoderPad, that was sales at CoderPad. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. That's amazing that you got to where you are from just that one motion. But ultimately, I think of it as an organization, what are the additional engines that you can turn on to really accelerate it? Like think about a boat or an airplane. Like you're not going to get too far if you've got one engine going. You need 2 or 3. So I think it's really about testing various things to actually see what sticks in that specific business. So another example at CoderPad, when I joined, there was a very deep-rooted belief that like, ooh, outbound, it doesn't work. Cold calling doesn't work.
Yep.
It does. It does work. Seeing it work. And I think I kind of probed into that. I was like, help me understand, like, why do you think it doesn't work? And the answer I got across the board was, exactly. You're like, oh, we tested it. It didn't work. I was like, okay, let's double click on that. Tell me about the test. And when I started to really chip away, it wasn't really a test, right? Like a well-run test of these various strategies, it doesn't happen in a week span. You have to be very thoughtful, very judicious, and continue to iterate. So measure, iterate. So I think everything from really getting these various cylinders going around, here's your outbound strategy. How are you really making sure that you actually have the leads coming in to support an account executive team? It could literally be one seller, but ultimately, is that one seller going to be responsible for building their entire, like 100% of the closed won deals that they have? Or do we need leads coming in from marketing? Do we need leads coming in from a partnership channel, right? A partnership play. So there's all these different kind of, I would say, levers or engines that you can turn on. In my mind, the ones that are most critical are you got to develop an outbound sales motion. That's something you've always got to test, assuming there's product market fit. Outbound is very, very important. I think making sure that you have really been thoughtful around not outrunning your coverage. Probably the number one mistake that I've seen sales organizations make is they go out and they're like, oh, we're going to hire a bunch of AEs. That's going to solve the problem. Going to solve the problem. So making sure you have the leads to support that organization. So whether that's through SDRs, that could be through affiliate referral relationships. It could be through one of many channels. It could be through marketing, or it could be through all of the above, right? So kind of having a holistic approach and really just starting to test to see what works. And by test, I don't mean a week test. I mean, give it some time, right? We're talking months. Right now, CoderPad is actually doing an experiment with SDRs. The SDR motion didn't exist at CoderPad before. And again, there was a deep-rooted belief that it just wouldn't work. And as it turns out, it appears it actually does work. And it helps provide these wonderful sellers that we have brought on board who actually are very good at surfacing their own leads. It helps them because it gives them additional leads, because we recognize they're probably not going to be able to get enough pipe on their own without having leads coming in from marketing and coming in from SDRs.